things were so tough to the extent that after I successfully completed junior high school, my parents could not afford to take me to secondary school, that is senior high school. How I made my first £100,000, my season of abundance. You know, this money is not really huge sums of money, but then I want to share this with you so that you first of all understand that whatever that money ministry masterclass is teaching is something that is practical and it's something that works. Aside that, we also want you to understand that in your money making strategies or in your wealth creation path, there are some strategies you need to employ. So we share this to encourage you and also to enlighten you. But then when it comes to good news, I always say that the good news of anything is best understood when you have a glimpse of the bad news. For instance, when a Christian says that John chapter 3 verse 16 says that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth or believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. This good news will not mean a good news to someone if the person does not understand the bad news that Romans 3:23 and 6:23 talking about for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and also talking about the wages of sin being death. So if you do not understand this, you cannot appreciate the good news. That is why I want to share with you that for you to understand why we are sharing this inspiration with you for this and the strategies we employ in making our first £100,000, you need to let you know the background, little information about the background, so you have an idea of the bad news. I will briefly say that I was born to a very humble family or a humble home. So when you talk about humble background, then we are talking about a family that is below, let's say, middle income family. So the things were so tough to the extent that after I successfully completed junior high school, my parents could not afford to take me to secondary school, that is senior high school. So I am George Kwabena Esiedu, and I was actually born, or I am actually from Konongo in the Asante Achim of Ghana. And when you talk about Konongo, one of the things that many people can use to remember is the hometown of the musician Black Sheriff. Yeah, so when you go to Konongo, I specifically come from the area called Freetown, which shares border with Konongo Zongo, where Black Sheriff comes from. But I was born in a nearby village at home. I wasn't born in the hospital. I was born at home. And then I started schooling from there. And after a while, I came back to Konongo, my hometown, and attended some part of my my primary education at Konongo Mines School. And then after a while, one or two things happened, and I had to go to Konongo Ashtown to continue my school at Kumasi Anglican School, but we call it Kumasi St. Anne's Anglican School in Ashtown. But then for a lot of stories and a whole lot of stars, I completed junior high school, and I had to come back home again and have my senior high school education at Konongo Dumasi. Like I told you, my parents could not afford senior high school. God had to intervene some way, somehow. That is not the story for today. And I got a form of scholarship, and I was able to go through my senior high school. Again, when I completed senior high school, there was no help, there was no plan for me to go straight to university was not in the plan at all. The best anyone could suggest around then was that maybe I go to college teacher training, so that those days the Ghanaian government had in their policies teacher training allowances, so that I could fall on that to support the family, or I could use that to maybe further my education along the line. But I had a strong faith that the same God who has been with me and helped me through secondary education will make a provision. And I said many mighty things. And to cut the whole story short, I bought forms to go to University of Cape Coast. I went there, and how I was able to school, pay my fees, and complete, God came through series of support that we cannot discuss today. And then, lo and behold, I was able to complete university. So senior high school from 2011 to 2014, work for 1 year, and 2015 to 2019, I went to University of Cape Coast, UCC in Ghana. So upon completion, God made a way, and then I came to the United States, December 2020. Now, going straight to how I made my first £100,000, I want you to pay attention to this. So these are the strategies. I employed 6 strategies to create 6 multiple streams of income. So the first one was working. I worked. And what work did I do? I took 2 full-time jobs, and then I had 1 part-time job. So with a full-time job, I worked in a hotel as a night porter. This is, so you see, yeah, let me add this quickly. When I came to UK, I came to UK to do my master's from January 2021 to June 2022. So by June 2022, I had graduated and went on graduate student visa. So when I went on graduate student visa, then I could work full time. So during that period, from June 10th, thereabout, or towards end of June 2022, I could start working full time. So I work as a night porter in a hotel for a full time. So that's like 4 or 5 days a week. And then I got an English teaching course, or an English teaching job. That is called, the course title or the program title is ESOL Tutor. And I was teaching English to speakers of other languages, some Europeans who are in the UK, and a whole lot of stuff. And I was teaching from 9 a.m. Until 5 p.m., 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. And then in the night, usually from 10:30 or 11 o'clock, I'll go to the hotel and work until 8 a.m. in the morning. But the hotel I was usually working Monday to Thursday. Worst case would be to Friday. And then the teaching was mostly Monday to Friday. Few cases I would do maybe Tuesday to Friday. What happened was that while I was doing this, I had Friday night to myself, the whole of Saturday, and then Sunday night. So I also took a factory job where I could do another 16 to 24 hours over the weekend, because I was keen to raising more money so that I will use it to do many things that the Lord has placed on my heart. So that's the first strategy I employed. Now, the second strategy I employed was invested in treasury bills. When the money started coming, I thought about it quickly that I cannot save all my money in the UK. After all, I am on graduate student visa. So if it ends and I haven't got any other visa to remain in the UK, I will need to go to Ghana. So I had to start thinking about having some money in Ghana. And then I had a little financial knowledge, and I got to realize that to keep my money in a bank account sitting there for inflation and all of that, why don't I consider buying treasury bills? And I bought quite handsome amount and number of treasury bills in one of the Ghanaian banks. Yeah, I will just keep those details for now. Yes. And then I considered that also because of diversification, because the cedi could appreciate anytime, So I had some money left here in the UK in pounds and some money in Ghana as cedis, so that I could also benefit from diversification. Let's say any kind of crisis that could have happened from those countries. So that was the second strategy I employed. The third strategy I employ to make the money or make my money, the towards £100,000 we are looking at is investing in stocks and crypto. Yeah, so I had two stock accounts. Initially, I had two stock accounts here in UK. I wouldn't want to mention that, so that I wouldn't want to mention the broker's name, so that it doesn't look like I am recommending those maybe brokers and stuff here, because in a separate video I might talk about some brokers that anybody can consider, but for now I'll hold on to that. And then I had one separate broker too that I used to buy my crypto, and I invested in them by, I think, so I started this investment effectively end of 2023. So between November between from June 2022 throughout the year 2023, I was making money, keeping money in the account and all of that. And I was doing other projects that is not part of this conversation. So by June 2023, I had actually worked for 1 full year. Yeah, so I had to work for 1 full year. So I was thinking about what to do with my money. That's when I thought of investing in these that I'm talking about. So towards by middle of 2023, that's somewhere around June, I was considering various investment strategies, and I thought of following stock market. And because there was a kind of economic crash in 2022, the stock market was still having good prices, and I entered into the market between end 2023 through January 2024. I had like made over 100% profit. So that's something around, so that, yeah, that's within the space of 11 to 13 months. I had made a profit of about 140 to 150. Yes, 140 to 150% profit on the amount I invested. So any amount I invested, I double it way past that. They were individual stocks I invested in. Some of them were as high as 300%, but when I put the entire portfolio together within the space of 11 to 13 months, yes, 11 to 13 months, I had generated a profit over like, let's say, roughly between 140 and 150%. So that is what I can share about the investment in crypto and stock. Now I've got money on me, so I had to consider strategies. So this stock investment kept continuing, and then, yeah, seeing the profit, and it kept on going on. And then I have treasury bills that's also going through, and I've started accumulating more money in Ghana. So I had to, within that same period, think about what I will be using those monies for. So I got a fourth stream of income, or let's say a fourth idea, that's buying a taxi. So I entered into the transport business, but here, not I didn't buy the taxi in the UK. I bought a taxi in Ghana. Bought a taxi from Kumasi, moved it to Accra, and it was working in Accra, making some money. I think I was quite generous on the driver. Maybe I wasn't. I was, whichever way it was. I think I was quite generous. So he was making sales of 500 cedis a week, and that also kept running for a while. So that's also generating a stream of income. The fifth stream of income was my idea to quickly put some notes together based on some things that were happening. I saw opportunity popping up, people needing CDs, some students who were around and they needed to convert CDs from their parents to pay their fees. So they needed pounds here. And I saw some people who were already in the UK here too, and they were sending money through tap send and remit and other stuffs to Ghana. So I just felt like maybe I could take an opportunity there and be a peer-to-peer money exchange. So I try something of that sort. So some of the CDs I've accumulated in my treasury bills account, or I've used to buy treasury bills, and then some of them had matured and I've got the cash in my regular account or in my current account. I could now give some of these CDs to some people who needed CDs in Ghana, huge sums of CDs for their project, and then I'll take pounds from them. And other people who needed pounds here, those who are trying to pay their fees or sending money to their family here, then I will just take their CDs and push it there. So it became some kind of a business that currently we call it GK transfer, and it also ran for a while, or it also kept on running. Aside this aside this fifth idea, the last strategy that I employed was like zooming into visa applications, and also let's say some kind of traveling and or travel and tour opportunities. So what happened is that I did my own visa application to come to the UK, and I started helping some few people around me, and that's through the student visa application. So when I came here, after a very long period of time, or after a while, many people have helped to come here. We're also connecting to people, and these people wanted me to help them, so that as I help them, they will be able to also make their student visa application here. Then you get commission from them. From the start, I wasn't charging anyone, so you get maybe £200, £300, £500 as commission and all of that. So I think after a while, I partnered with a friend, and then we try to do it student visa application, and then later student dependent visa application for many people. So they were reaching me through the friend, and some of them too were coming through me directly, or other people we've helped here. So we try to help many students, because those days deposits, some schools were not taking deposit at all. Tuition fee deposit, mothers were taking 1,500. I think the maximum at then was just £2,000. So we try helping people throughout the whole process, getting them bank statement and everything, and then they get here. So I was doing for those coming to the UK, tried helping some people also going to Canada, other people going to US, and then other people also going to Germany. So was getting commission from all these application. And then through that, we saw that almost everyone who was coming to the UK or going to Canada, they needed bank statements. So I got, even though there are some people I have never met them in Ghana before, I got some bank managers from few banks, or branch managers. Let me say some some banks branch managers in Ghana that I got linked with. Then they were making a bank statement for these clients, and then I got commission from them as well. So it was working, things were kicking on. And then along the line, we heard of UK making mass recruit for nurses and carers, and then we researched around that, and we saw that there's something we could do to also help. So we tried to also do some of it. It was a seasonal stuff, so we did some of them so that we could make some money from those applications. So it went on like that. So these 6 strategies were employed to make sure that we generate some money, and all put together we had clock £100,000 between let's say end of June 2022 to somewhere like January 2024. Yeah, we have already gone above £100,000. So that is the strategy we employ. So this is to encourage anyone who wants to make money. See, some people think that once you are young, or once you are able to make money within a short period of time, huge sums of money, maybe you did something weird. So I took it upon myself that at the right time, I will break it down so that people will understand how we made some money. They saw us, you see, commanding maybe not long ago, so that they will understand, and also encourage those who are thinking, putting some strategies in place to also make money, create wealth for their kingdom assignment or for the dream they have on earth, so that they will not be discouraged that there is no way out, it is not possible. Many people think that it is not possible to make money genuinely, but from my little experience and knowledge, I think in as much as money making money, creating wealth is not easy, I think it is much more easier to make money genuinely than to make money otherwise. All right, so these are the strategies we've shared with you. Take your inspiration from it and be encouraged that if you create multiple streams of income with the help of the Almighty God, you will be able to make it. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Like the video, comment, ask any questions you want to ask, and remember to share this video to someone. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.